Hi, everyone. This is Michelle with the Hospitality Sales Masterclass. Welcome. And I am thrilled to have Sam Thompson with us here today from Sync Meetings Management. I just, I actually, we haven't met in person yet, but the relationship that we've cultivated through emails and phone calls and doing a podcast together with Russell of Hotels, I simply adore you, and I simply adore what you stand for and what Sync Meetings Management stands for. And I am here to tell everybody on the Hospitality Sales Masterclass that Sam and his partner, they have over 25 clients that book over approximately 40 meetings a year, and those 40 meetings a year are worth 16,000 room nights. But I know that it's more than just you and your partner on the team. I think your partner's name is Matt Diamond.
Correct.
And I know that your team is growing and expanding. So maybe tell the folks on the Hospitality Sales Masterclass how many associates Sync Meetings Management has, so that they can get to know not just you, but your team members as well.
Thank you, Michelle, for the opportunity to speak with you, to speak on your forum. Excited, and I'm a fan of what you're doing out here in this hospitality industry. Excited that you want to collaborate with me. We believe in collaboration, number one. So we're excited. We don't see competitors. We see partners everywhere, every door we open. So thank you for the opportunity this morning. Secondly, our team has grown. We're blessed to say we have people on both coasts. We have people in Baltimore, Atlanta, Chicago, and most of our team is here in California. We don't have anyone in Northern California yet, which is a shame because that's my roots. That's my hometown, is the Bay Area, but it's okay. We're growing. We have about 10 people with us today, and our company will be 5 years in October. So we're excited for the growth, excited people trust us to join us and take a leap of faith with us.
Wonderful. Well, that was a perfect segue into the first question that folks are curious about is, what was your background prior to 5 years ago when you started Sync Meetings Management? What did you do before?
Well, I was on the hotel side like most of us. Most of us have fallen into this industry. It wasn't an initial plan in high school or college. Some went to college for this, but I did not. I was going to be a doctor. I was going to be a pediatrician. But I fell in love with the industry. I used to work for Marriott International. And for you Bay Area folks, I started at the Burlingame Airport Marriott on Old Bayshore Boulevard, Airport Boulevard. So that was my first hotel back in '98 at an airport property, and started off at the front desk, like so many of you out there, and was checking them in, checking them out, getting cussed at when you didn't get a presidential suite, getting yelled at when you didn't get the room bill right, and getting compliments when you got it all right. So I enjoyed that engagement with people face to face, coming from all over the world, all over the country, to a little airport property. Being by San Francisco Airport, we saw and dealt with a lot of different clientele because of where we were on the globe. So that was my first job. And then just transferred all around Marriott from downtown San Francisco to Southern California in 2007, and really went to my future sales career in '07 at the JW Marriott Desert Springs, where I was a mid-market manager. For all you oldies and goodies, oldies out there that have been around, you know what that means, mid-market manager. And just started hunting for food, started hunting up in Orange County, LA, San Diego, was on the road all the time, and then just grew into a 17-year career with Marriott.
Wow. And how did you choose site selection?
Well, my last role with Marriott, I was a global rep. I was an SAE. For all you Marriott people out there, they know what all these acronyms stand for, but a lot of companies use the same acronyms. But I was dealing with total account management. So I was doing the business travel. I was doing group project business. I was doing your group events. And the fun side of it was really the group side. And just a light bulb finally went off that's where I was really having the most engaging conversations with my clients, were the ones that were putting these large events together, getting people out of their offices. And it was just a fun part of siting a property with the client and bridging people together, and taking that from my on-site property experience at Desert Springs I really enjoyed that part of the job, was meeting new people and showing them something they either had never seen or was renovated, or just introducing everyone to the dance, bringing everyone to the table. And that's what got me into the site selection focus. Is that's really the fun part of the job, is to create these amazing events from paper to fruition.
Cool. Now, as I've shared before we started this interview, I did some research before I put together the Hospitality Sales Masterclass, and I actually spoke and interviewed over 30 hospitality sales professionals and asked them what their biggest concerns, frustrations, and fears were in working with us. And these are some of the questions that they wanted to understand. So can
Okay.
you share with us how Sync Meeting Management, or yourself specifically, how do you select the hotels that you send the RFP to for your clients?
It's all in the qualifying part of our job and our role with our client. Being a full service event planning company, we're privy to sitting at the table with the CEOs, with the CFOs, understanding the pulse of the company, understanding the perception piece. I think when we all went through the last downturn in 2008, 2009, resorts were off the table. Even though they were still having events, it was perception of resort, luxury. And I took that lesson to heart, because I was at a resort, and some clients wanted to work with us, but couldn't because the resort was in the name. So now when we work with our clients, we really qualify, is it good for their stakeholders? Is it good for the PR piece? And that's really drives where they go. Do they need a drive-in market? Is it international attendees? What's the best airlift? So we take all these factors and then we present those options to our client before we actually source, to get a pulse. Because the last thing you want is to get an RFP, get super excited about it, and then it's like, oh, we can't go to Chicago. Oh, we can't go to a major city. Oh, the pulse of the company, they're in recovery. They got to do something more drivable, hour or two away from the head office or headquarter office. So we take all those factors before sourcing a program.
And so you mentioned multiple destinations, but not necessarily in the same RFP. Do your clients do multiple city searches?
We do. And again, if there's really an opportunity to bring new destinations to the table, or third tier city where they can get even more value with less headache, less traffic, whatever the case may be, they might want LA, but we're also going to look at the California desert. We may even stretch it to San Diego or to Arizona, depending on the demographics of the group and where they can fly in or drive into. But we do multi-city searches for sure.
Okay. I just wanted to point out, because you've answered this a little bit differently than some of the other folks that I've had on these interviews, and that
Okay.
you make recommendations in cities to your clients.
Absolutely.
They might say, hey, we want to be in LA, but based on everything that you expand the search, and based on your expertise of what the stakeholders are looking for, the demographic of the attendees, and possibly and probably based on what you know about a destination over a current period of time, like whether or not it's going to fit within their budget, and some other areas might fit better in their budget or offer something of better value that the client might not have considered.
Absolutely. And it wasn't intentional at first. The reason being, when I left Marriott, 17 years with one company, you've been drinking the Kool-Aid for a mighty long time. So branching out to do the site selection piece and be an expert, or guiding or a consultant in that fashion, I need to get out and learn what else is out there. So I went before my clients. I do these videos, and I go out and do a FAM, or I go and do a single site day trip, and I'll go see what's in the North County of LA. I'll go see what's in Valencia. I'll go check out a Four Seasons in Westlake Village. I'll go down to areas that my clients have never been to. I'll go to Mesa, Arizona, and find a Sheraton by Wrigleyville Field and see a nice property that's full service-esque, but the price point is affordable, like a Courtyard. I go and find these hidden gems because my clients they don't have time to do that. Our clients in our industry don't have time to do that unless they're really specifically going to do that final site for the final round before they make a decision. So I'll go to these unique destinations and destinations we've all heard of and do the fact finding and showcase to them, hey, you should consider this. Even though you've done this and your board of directors want X, let me show you why this could work for you as well in case we can't get your preferred dates or the rates and dates that you want, and even the space. So we have an inside joke with our company. We like options. Even though we order the same thing, we all do it. You go to Cheesecake Factory, you get the same thing every time you go, but you look at the menu because you love all the options. So that's what we do. We always at least equip them with options to think of and consider for future events.
Yeah. At Avery Murphy, we say groovy, more hotel choices, because choices are a wonderful thing. So
love it.
yeah.
I told you we speak the same gospel. I told you that.
Right, right. So what could a hotel sales professional say in a voicemail or an email that would inspire you to reply promptly? The folks that I have on the interview are quality folks like yourself, and I know we all strive to treat our sales professionals the way that we would like to have been treated on that site, and respond to voicemails and emails, but sometimes it's just not physically possible in the timely manner of which we would like.
Yeah.
But some folks make their way to the top of the pile. What do they say or write in a voicemail or an email that inspires you, Sam, to respond to them more promptly?
It's funny. I pride myself on not having an ego, but eventually, and sometimes it does come out. And if those that know how to stroke your ego, they're going to get your attention. Even when you're not expecting them to do so, even when you're not that kind of person that goes by title first, as long as you're humble, you get my attention. But those that do their homework, if they reach out and say, hey, Sam, I see you with Sync Meeting Management, and I see you have a team, or how can I get to know you and the team, or how can we better work with third parties like you? That approach gets me every time, because it's not just, here's our e-proposal, take a look and let us know, can we partner? They're qualifying sync. Are we who we say we are? Are we transparent with our dealings? Are we upfront? Are we honest? Do we have integrity with our clientele and how we do business? They're asking the questions to get to know me and my team. And one lady I really pride, when we first started Sync, her name's Charina, and she used to work for Omni Hotels. And she was the first GSO, one of the first to reach out and say, hey, who are you guys? I want to partner. Let me get to know you. What can we do to partner? What can we do to just build a relationship? Herself, Jennifer Schaefer with Alhai, just amazing people that came at us at a genuine and earnest way. And that will always win me over, when you're just humble and honest and just transparent and easygoing. That gets our attention every time. So we have some great supplier relationships, because that's how it was cultivated, which is a genuine, who are Sync, who are these guys, never heard of them, let's see what we can do to help them out and partner. And it's gone very well for us with those genuine people out there in this industry.
Wonderful. So now I share with people on the Hospitality Sales Masterclass that, there's, with a client that we've had a long-term relationship with, our RFPs are spectacular. But with a client that we have a newer relationship with, sometimes there's a couple of holes in the RFP. Can you tell me a little bit about the difference for you as it relates to your hotel sales professionals and your destination sales professionals, the difference between when you have a long-term relationship with a client versus a brand new client? How do your expectations differ? And I think you might have answered that in the previous question, but still, I find, I also speak a lot about adult learning, and repetition is key. So I don't think they can hear these things too much until it actually sinks in and becomes habit for them. And automatic for them.
That's a tough question, because with a new client, you're building rapport, you're building a trust, you're building a relationship. And for a long-term relationship, the trust is there. They go at it, Sync, go at it, Matt Diamond, go at it, Sam Thompson, go at it, Sophia Bryant, go at it, you guys. Do what you guys got to do. We trust what you're bringing back is what we're going to need to really consider. With a new client, we found ourselves having to slow the process down. You get an RFP, you're excited to source it. You're excited, you got all the qualifying questions filled out, and you're like ready to map it out. But I really find slowing it down, understanding what we need to best serve them. Because sometimes, and one example, I got an RFP from a client out of Dallas when our first year. So excited, had a call with the CEO, so excited, new relationship, they're excited to work with us, and then find out they're working with 3 other third parties. And we're all sourcing the same RFP. And thank God we have great relationship with our suppliers. They give me the heads up like, hey, Sam, you've done a great job with this RFP. Just want you to know we received this several times. And that was so deflating because you're like, wow, I thought we were exclusive. I thought we were really building something. So we stepped out of the equation. The last thing we want to do is muddy the waters with our name in the middle of it and not be able to really service a client, because now we're jockeying for the same rate, dates, and space. Who truly has a real relationship? So we tapped out. We tapped out and said, you guys have at it, but if you ever want to come back and work with us exclusively, we can best serve you in that light. Because then at the end of the day, we're not wasting the hotel's time responding to the same RFP 4 or 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had to learn that the hard way. Sometimes we have to slow the process down and ask even further questions. Are you working with anyone else? Have you worked with a third party before? Those are all the life lessons you learn from just getting that RFP via email, and you're just excited to go to work. We really try to really qualify our new planners, our new clients very thoroughly to make sure it's a good mix for us to work together. Because not all of it's going to be a good fit for you as well. It's an interview both ways here, not just one-sided. So we've learned that along our journey with our new clients, to slow the process down and really get to know what they're looking for and the way they engage in this business.
Thank you. And I'm just going to highlight what you shared. I've had clients, potential clients is what I'll refer to them as, future clients is what I'll refer to them as, and that they want to see what you can do versus someone, what another third party can do. And when third parties do that, they do a disservice to the client, in addition to doing a disservice to the hotels, sales professionals out there.
Exactly.
Because it's coming from the hotel side, like both you and I do, they're really not going to get a different rate based on the relationship. They're going to get it. The only reason they might get a different rate is if the lead goes to 2 different salespeople and they present it a little bit different, but it's not going to be something that's huge, because rates are quoted based on business decisions from the hotel. Yes, relationships are important, but they're using all of these business factors to make those decisions. So we vibe the same way with regard to that. Now, you've mentioned a couple of people that are your favorite hotel sales professionals, and you've shared why they are your favorite sales professionals. Are there, what are the qualities? If you could just emphasize that again, and if there's anybody else you want to add to that list. I know that I'm sure that they would love to hear it when they join us here on the Hospitality Sales Masterclass. Who are your favorite hotel sales professionals, and why are they your favorites?
I have too many favorites. So it's like, who's your best friend? And then you get in trouble for naming your best friend when you told someone else they're your best friend. So I'll say this. Who I've seen it do it at a high level that I really admire. Her name's Jamie McClanahan, and she just recently got married. So I know her last name's changed, but she worked for the Hyatt in Indian Wells here in the California desert. And during the site inspection process, we've all walked into that hotel or a hotel or venue and met an executive leadership team. The GM's there, everyone's ready to shake hands. Maybe they brought you a beverage of choice to highlight their service. She blew all that up. We walk in, instead of going right into it, she slowed the process down. She wanted to re-qualify the RFP right in front of me, in front of the client. What that showed me, her thoroughness, her attention to detail, and making sure I didn't miss something. So she really slowed down the process to speed up the site inspection experience, not showing them things they don't need to see, not not highlighting areas of their program that they're no longer doing anymore. Because we all know from RFP, from the start of an RFP process to site inspection, that program evolves, changes. They get rid of a dinner or two, they get rid of a breakfast, they get rid of a session or two, they may add some things. So she wanted to make sure that what she was going to spend time showing them was valuable, and she could provide options. And so she did a phenomenal job, and we ended up brokering a 2-year deal because of that. The original RFP was 1 year. She did such a great job on the sales site inspection process, understanding the client's true needs. And I did a good job. So I'm not going to say I missed anything. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying she made sure I didn't miss anything. And she made sure that she could highlight what the client really valued, since they'd driven all this way through traffic to see her property. She wanted to make sure she hit it out of the ballpark. And so Jamie did an amazing job. She's an amazing friend. I'm so proud of her. We booked several programs together. And because of that process, I've sent other business to that hotel because of that type of engagement. I know we're on a site inspection timeline. We got to get to the next hotel, but she really maximized her time by requalifying while she had them on site. And so she's a good one. Veronica Rivera, the San Diego Travel Tourist Authority, the CVB there, she's phenomenal. She's re-educated me on the geographics of San Diego and all the different hotel options. She stayed close to Sync, and we've done a lot of business with her. I can go on and on. There's a lot of good people that do it the right way, at least the way I respect. And so I'm gonna get in trouble for not naming people, but those two I would say just stand out. Ronnie with Visit Oakland, amazing. She's introduced me to organizations that I wouldn't have ever heard of and gone to their conferences. It's that pay it forward approach I love with people, where it's not about them. They're looking at Sam or Sync has a need. You need to meet these individuals. You need to meet these people. You need to see this hotel. And they've gone above and beyond what I was doing when I was on the hotel side. So it speaks the language of what we're trying to do at Sync, bringing people together. It's not about us. We really highlight who we work with and partner with more than we do anything about ourselves. So if you see our social media, especially on Instagram and Facebook, that's where our messaging really highlights who we are thankful for. It is rarely about us. You'll see us highlighting hotel people all day long. That's our gospel. And so we're fans of everyone that does a good job.
Cool. And I thank you for talking about social media, because we also highlight our sales professionals in our social media via Facebook. And they do, the ones that earn our respect take so much time and effort that it's a shame when the people who share our space don't acknowledge that in a public forum. I share with the folks at the Hospitality Sales Masterclass, for professional reasons, they need to be out there on social media and have a personal brand, so that we can say thank you and
absolutely
and highlight them. Okay, so the last question, I'm going to change it a little bit. I usually ask, what's your hack for hotel sales professionals and working with site selection professionals? But, as I'm going to date this particular video, because we do find ourselves in this unique time with the COVID-19 pandemic. And, you shared this with me in our pre-conversation. It's difficult to ascertain when we're doing this at the end of April 2020, if we're at the beginning, the middle, or the end. And I kind of almost want to put that out there to mark this, to see where we're at. And it's difficult for us to consult with our clients that way, but there have to be some sales professionals that stand out, or even hotel companies that are doing better during this pandemic, that, when people have their back in a corner, we really start to find out who the star players are, who the leaders are. What have you found are some qualities that have come out in the sales professionals that you've been working with in this pandemic that site selection professionals like ourselves would like to see carried forward?
Whew. Um, partnership is always a redundant word we use all the time. And I think it's more important than ever. I've seen people more engaged than ever. We're not taking the day-to-day for granted as we typically do. And it's hard not to take some things for granted. You wake up every morning, I thank God. However, in this pandemic, those that haven't reached out or they're looking to reach out via Zoom and do a call or just texting to see how are you doing. The personal touches I've received during this pandemic has been way beyond when we were in a normal world prior to the pandemic. Example, one hotel person, and I'm gonna say his name because he deserves kudos for this. I thank God for him. Gabe Romero. He called me maybe a month ago and said, "Hey Sam, I'm still working. But if you need anything, I got you." And I can't tell you how the anxiety that went away from that phone call when he said that. He's not my blood brother. He's a brother in Christ. He's not a family member. He's a family member through Christ. And so for a hotel partner to call a third party partner and say, "Hey, if you need something, I got you." If we can carry that forward when we are back on our jobs, when we're back in our cush seats at the office, when we're back in these meetings about meetings, if we can carry that attitude beyond the pandemic, as amazing as our hospitality industry is already, I can't even imagine how much more impactful our industry will be to just life, just mankind, to just reach out. "Hey, do you have enough to eat? Are you okay? Is your family safe?" That call means more to me than booking $1 million piece of business. It's priceless because you're caring about the person, not about the business. And so when you pour into people, the business will come. The business will be there. And so that practice I would like to see duplicated. We're more than RFPs. We're more than fancy cars. We're more than steak dinners. We're people. We're human beings at the root of all of it. And we all want the same things. We want a healthy life. We want to love life. We want to enjoy it. So that practice, if I could see that, which we're doing a lot, people are just calling to check up on you these days to see if you're breathing well, do a Zoom call, have some laughs. We're laughing at this situation to get through it together. We're trying to laugh at life a little bit to stomach what we're seeing every day. So if that answers your question, I think that would be one thing. I think what we're doing during the pandemic, that we can carry that forward. And remember, it's the people, not the business. I know we're not doing this for free, but most of us on this side are doing it for free right now. So it's good to get back and laugh and get back to the people, because that's what made me fall in love with the industry. When I was going to go on and be a doctor, I walked into a hotel lobby and I'm looking up at the chandeliers. I'm like, oh my God, I never knew this business even existed. When I heard hotel, I thought motel. I didn't get the difference. I didn't grow up going to Marriott hotels on vacations with my family when I was a kid. So it was like, I fell in love with the people. And that's what this is all bringing us back to, is the people, making sure they're okay. The business will return in a new way or an altered way or a new norm, as we're all saying. We'll figure that out. We figured it out after 2008. We figured it out after 9/11. We were always going to figure it out. New companies are going to be birthed because of this. The Great Depression brought and birthed Marriott. So we're all going to evolve and grow from this. But if we can get back to the root of why we're doing this as a people, I'm done preaching, but that's where I think we can carry forward that baton. It's a genuine concern and caring for others. And not to say that we weren't there already, but it seems like it's been heightened.
Yeah, I think for my experience, what I've noticed, at least for myself, two things. You've mentioned this a couple of times, and just like, slow down,
Mm-hmm.
slow down, kind of savor everything. And the other thing that I have myself personally noticed is that I am giving so much more grace to everyone,
Mm-hmm.
because, it's, I think most days, most of the time I'm running around and I'm like, okay, I got this. And then I'll
Yep.
do something weird. I can't even give you an example right now. It's little. And then I'm like, okay, this is impacting you more than you would have imagined. And I know that
Yeah.
other people are having that experience too, especially when I reach out to them and check how they're doing. I had 2 phone calls yesterday, and um, 2 people from the hospitality sales masterclass would have, I would say, kind of in air quotes, ghosted me. I didn't take it personal. I gave them grace. And then I learned what was going on in these past 2
Yeah.
weeks, and I understand why. So
Yes.
I would just add that, since we're having this conversation about that. And
Mm-hmm.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sam, for joining us here on the Hospitality Sales Masterclass. I appreciate you. I appreciate your organization.
Thank
I'm
you,
so
Michelle.
glad that we got to know one another. And
Yes.
I like to your point, I was going to start with this. I guess I'll close with this. You feel like my brother from another mother.
I'll be that. I will be that. I approve this message. I will take that. We have a running joke at my old job. I call myself Senator Sam. And so whenever I like a messaging, I say I approve it, like the presidential campaigns we see. So I approve it. Absolutely. I'll be your brother from another mother all day. It's all good.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, and peace and love to everybody. And I'm going to hit the stop on the recording button here.
All right, Michelle. Thank you again. Enjoyed you. You have a blessed day.